And live on Facebook. We're going live on Facebook. We're talking
Yay.
about transformation about to go down.
There we go. Hey,
Yes,
Facebook.
we are in there. All right. Hey, Facebook world. We're just here being free and being real. And we're talking about the power of transformation through nutrition is one way of doing that, of just kind of getting your foot in the door and stepping inside. There's lots of different ways to start a transformation, and people enter that process in lots of different ways. But we definitely have some tools to offer you. And so if you find yourself in a place of change, if you find yourself in a place of transformation, maybe you're transfiguring, what does my life look like and where am I going? This is a great opportunity for you to learn a little bit about our stories and what our journey has looked like and where that's led us to today. We're going to share with you my friend John's story as well. John Rhodes is a partner of mine in this nutrition company with Purium, this whole food nutrition company. And so we're just going to share with you how we got into this and what that looks like for us and what it is that we have to offer, which are these nutrition packs, which will just bring you into vibrant abundance energetically. It's really kind of unreal what what happens, and it unlocks so many other areas, not only your well-being, your health and well-being, but also your mental well-being, your spiritual attunement, the way that we're able to receive energy and give energy. And so I'm just going to start a little bit by sharing my story. I came into this superfood nutrition when I was caring for my mom and watched her have a really powerful transformation in hospice coming out of a broken hip. She was a diabetic and she had had a kidney transplant 20 years prior, and was just really dealing with multiple organ failure. She had the best tools that she could use at the time when she was dealing with her diabetes. And I wish that I would have known about Purium earlier, because I know that it would have just helped her live in a different plane from what she was able to in the times that she lived in. But thank goodness, Purium has developed this nutrition system, and they've been in this industry of wellness and holistic nutrition for over 30 years. And what they offer is live dehydrated superfood nutrition. And it comes in the form of plant produce, herb produce, roots, prebiotics, probiotics, humic and fulvic acid. I mean, all the stuff in there. It's really the best quality, most pure nutrition that you can get. And she was having trouble keeping food down. And so I was able to offer her this nutrition, which she could keep down. It's very efficient nutrition. It's also organic and grown in regenerative soil, which is part of why it's so efficient, is that these superfoods are so nutrient dense that you're consuming a smaller amount, but actually getting more nutrients than we get in the standard American diet and what's offered to us in the grocery stores, snacks at the gas station. There's all these convenient ways for us to buy these packaged and marketed foods. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But I was able to give her this nutrition, and she was around and she was with us for another couple years after breaking her hip and dealing with multiple organ failure. And the more I talk about that and the more I share that story, the more I realize how powerful that was as a tool to be able to offer her, that it really was able to bring her back from that place of not being able to walk. And within a month of breaking her hip, she was up and going to the bathroom and getting herself to the living room to go, do her astrology or watch TV, whatever she was doing. So I'm just really forever thankful and feeling very blessed that I was able to find this through we share a partner, Kimberly Sanders, who partners with us through Purium. And so just really forever thankful. But I decided to go ahead and do the nutrition myself because I saw the impact that it had on her health. And from an epigenetic standpoint, knowing that she dealt with diabetes, and I myself had a pre-diabetic diagnosis, and I was able to use this nutrition, and after 1 year, eliminate that pre-diabetic diagnosis. And also knowing that by guiding my family and my children into this lifestyle of consuming these foods, these clean, pure foods that are just so hard to get in today's world, I knew that I was just taking the right step forward. And just blessings on blessings ever since. My life has unlocked in ways that were unimaginable to me in the years before I started using these foods. And so that's my personal transformation. I'm dancing again. I'm writing music. I'm practicing somatics. I'm teaching dance again, embracing my life coaching and helping guide other people into this lifestyle. And John has had a similarly impactful transformation. So I would love for him to share before we go ahead and get into the products and what we have. I don't like to call it products, but the whole food nutrition, we would really like to get in, dig in for you about what we have to offer and why it's so powerful. So John, if you want to go ahead and share your transformation story, I know I have lots of friends that would benefit from that.
Yeah, thank you, Barbara. It's really nice to be here. I've been working in the transformation field for a very long time now. I started in 2007 and actively working, doing things like shadow work and learning about emotions and how they manifest in the physical body, understanding possibilities for clearer styles of communication where a person can be heard and listened to by another, and then also that person can express clearly and be heard in turn. These are kind of what I see as the roots of some of the consciousness transformation processes that have cropped up over the last 20 and perhaps even 30 years, when what you might refer to as the New Age movement started really, or self-help movement, if you were here around for that, started really getting going. And along the way, I discovered the power of shadow work transformation and transforming both personal experiential trauma as well as what, Barbara, you were referring to on some level as epigenetically stored trauma, which is kind of an idea that some might understand or believe in, and others might kind of go, yeah, I don't think so, and that's okay. What really was impactful for me was to recognize what an incredibly deep impact that these superfoods and this level of nutrition has on all of those other layers of being, that people spend thousands of dollars per year on their psychiatrist or counselors, thousands upon thousands of dollars on medications to treat mental illness, depression, all kinds of experiences of suffering, and really thousands and upon thousands of dollars on activities, experiences, foods, drinks, and people that can help us deal with the challenges and sufferings of life. Some people might take that to an extreme and be in addictions. Some people might not go anywhere near there and yet are still using some of these outlets to help them feel better from the suffering that they are present to. And one of the most difficult things about transformation that I've discovered in the last, I guess it's more than 15 years now that I've been exploring it, is that in order to experience a state of being that we desire to be in but are not yet in, we have to be willing to completely allow ourselves to change on some fundamental level, whether that's about our beliefs, our thoughts, our way of handling our emotions, or it's about the way that we eat. And when we really get into this experience, we begin to understand that the gut health has such a huge impact on how our brains interact with the environment that we're in. For instance, I recently came across a theory about cilantro. Now, if you've ever eaten cilantro, you know that there are some people who love it and some people who think it tastes like freaking soap. Okay. Now, something about cilantro that not everyone will know is that it has phytonutrients. These are micronutrients combined that come directly from this particular plant that can bind to things like heavy metals and toxins that tend to get embedded into our bodies on deep, deep levels. What happens in theory when a person who experiences it as soap is consuming the cilantro is that as the saliva in your mouth begins to break down the plant and you start right then to digest and absorb some of these phytonutrients, the reason that it tastes like soap is because there is so much junk and toxin in your mouth that it impacts your experience of eating the food. And that once your body is cleared of that, you will no longer experience that plant as tasting awful. You'll actually can enjoy it. Now, that doesn't mean that the people that enjoy it are all free of toxins or anything like that. This isn't a comparison of like, okay, this person over here is great and this person over here is terrible. It's just that our ability to determine what is good for us is largely dependent upon the state of well-being that our body is in. So if your body has been accustomed to the standard American diet, to snacking on junk foods, to consuming sodas every day, to smoking, to all sorts of these ways that we depend on to get us through our days, even down to something as maybe basic in American culture today as your favorite coffee drink at the local coffee shop that's full of syrup and whipped cream and these types of things. That is going to impact our experience of things that are truly going to nourish our bodies. And in the example that I was giving around cilantro, ironically, the people who hate it the most often need it the most. So for some people, when they start with these superfoods, they are so powerful that they may find that the experience is like, whoa, like, when somebody eats vegetables for the first time and they've never eaten vegetables, they taste disgusting. But then there's a person who eats vegetables all the time and they're just like, oh, these are the greatest things ever. How can you not like broccoli? And this has more to do with the environment that the body is in than really anything about our identities. And so when we consider this idea of transformation, we have to be willing to consider that our identity may change as we engage in it. But what's beautiful about it is that when we embrace that possibility, the majority of people discover, especially when they're using Purium superfoods, that transformation makes them a better person. I mean, listen to what Barbara told you. She's dancing, she's making music, she's sharing with other people about the impact that it had on her life. And like, how can anybody ask for a bigger impact than to be able to assist your mother through maybe the most challenging portion of her life, to help her improve the quality of her living? Like, who can say that that isn't a deep, 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 deep desire for fulfillment in their life? So when we talk about transformation, my, I didn't share very much about my own personal story, and I'm still in it. 15 months, 16 months into it, I'm still changing. I'm still learning new things about how my body is responding. I thought I was just going to go on this massive trajectory of like, wow, the life is wonderful and nothing can ever go wrong again. And then I hit a wall of how my gut microbiome was healing. And like, I went down a really deep, dark tunnel for about 6 months, but I stayed on the foods. And the foods are bringing me back to that place where I felt so enlivened. And what I'm realizing is that that initial experience that I had of like coming out of a rocket ship, that was like my body's response to suddenly getting everything that it had been asking for years and maybe decades. And then once it had enough of those things that it absolutely had to have in order to start healing, it started doing some of the harder work. It started uncovering layers that hadn't yet been uncovered, that needed to be processed, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. And those things started coming out of me and changing. And so now, as I'm seeing my sort of more gradual improvement in my feeling of well-being and in my emotional well-being and in my mental well-being, what I'm recognizing is that what I experienced at first was awesome, but it wasn't really me healing. It was just my body having a freaking party, because all of a sudden it got so much great stuff inside, it couldn't help itself. The cells were like, woo, this is amazing.
Yes.
But now my body is doing the hard work of transforming itself into like a superhuman body. I'll share a really quick story and then we can get to the products. I've been going through a really difficult emotional experience over this summer around the relationship that I have with my girlfriend. And it came to a moment where I'd kind of really lost all hope that there was any possibility of harmony being reached between us, or understanding, or really anything. I was just really struggling. And I kind of have been in a process of grieving the loss of this relationship. And I got to a night where I kind of decided the best thing for me to do was to watch a really sad show on Netflix for as long as I can, so I could like get the emotions out, and like drink as much as like alcohol as I really wanted to. And I did, and I drank a lot. Like, I've been a kind of a casual, if not enthusiastic beer drinker for a long time, but I really took it to an extreme, and I was like having emotional release all night until like 4 a.m. Within 12 hours of that and the superfoods in my body, I was crushing a calisthenic workout that I've been doing every day for most of this summer. Like, this consists of, okay, how many pull-ups can you do in a row? And then how many chin-ups can you do in a row? And how many Australian row-ups can you do in a row? And it's like this whole series of things. I do more than one set of it. I was crushing all of my max reps in every one of these, after totally having like the type of, I'm 45. This is the type of night where like the next day I should be totally wrecked, unable to really function or do anything. Nope. I got up, I did my calisthenics, and I crushed the whole thing. I was like blown away. I had no idea that like my body could do that. And I hadn't even had both doses of the superfoods yet. That was on one dose. So that's my testimonial for how it can go for you. By the way, I'm not advocating my own style of dealing with emotional, difficulties or life challenges. It's just that if you happen to do something along those lines, these superfoods are so powerful that you can come back the next day and literally perform better than you may have ever performed physically in your life. I mean,
Totally.
it's
So
astounding.
good.
So.
I love that testimonial. And the reason why I love it, and I'm just going to read this quote by Alan Watts real quick. It's, "You're under no obligation to be the same that you were 5 minutes ago." And I love that because we are humans and we have instincts. And there's a reason why we have instincts. And the reason for those instincts is theoretically evolution. If you subscribe to this, and I practice, evolutionary astrology and was raised by my mother who also practiced evolutionary astrology. And one thing that she taught me was everything in moderation, including moderation. And so for me in my life and my spiritual practice and the way that I embrace change in my life is that the letting go, the stepping outside of discipline can be just as important and informing as the staying within discipline. And it's like you were talking about with connection in your post about the testimonial that you made with your relationship. Unification is extremely powerful, but the empowering aspect of defining oneself outside of connection is equally as powerful. And when it comes to our personal evolution and our personal transformation and how we become empowered through those changes, those constant changes, the only certainty is change. And so I believe it's really, I don't believe, I have this knowing through my experience that when we step inside and outside of those things through change, we are gaining an awareness of self. We're gaining a self-realization by falling and stumbling. A child who's learning to walk, when a child is learning to walk and they fall, by falling and receiving that impact, they are building the muscles which help them get back up to walk. And that's what we're doing by evolving and transforming as individuals, in our relationships, in our families, in our communities, as a species. The earth, this is what the earth and the universe are doing from a quantum physics level. So it's all truth. When you are becoming self-realized, when you're becoming so in tune with just absolute real reality of what we're dealing with, and when you are consuming this nutrition and you are helping your body get rid of all these man-made synthetic products that they're putting in our food, the chemicals in the air and the water in the soil. At some point, human beings decided the earth is cool, but I can do better. And we started overriding the earth's plan for existence and the universe's plan for existence. And we play a key role in that. We are a cohabitant of experience with the earth. But I think we've learned a lot through our experimentation, just like you and I have learned a lot about how to walk. We're all just walking home together and we're walking home with the earth. And we've learned a lot about nutrition and the difference it makes. We've had a personal experience of stepping into this pure organic live dehydrated superfood that is grown in regenerative soil so that the soil is living as the earth intended and the water is living water as the earth intended. And there is a wisdom of the earth. Just like we come on here and we talk about the stuff we've learned, the earth is speaking to us. And when you consume this food and you get it in your body for 60 to 90 days, your body and the universe will tell you what the truth is about food. you will learn it and you will feel it and you'll experience it. And then you'll fall down and then you'll get back up and you'll build that muscle to stay on the path. And when your physical vessel becomes realized in that way and you become purified and cleansed and have inside of you what you're intended and what you're evolved to have inside of you, your body thanks you. And so I look forward to anybody experiencing the strength of that gratitude that the universe gives back to you. And so I'm going to do a screen share and we're going to show you what we're talking about. And what we're talking about is an ultimate lifestyle transformation through this superfood company, Purium. And so here we have our core 4 products that are included. I just want to remind you, this is all organic, live dehydrated superfoods, which are grown on the 1 to 2%, somewhere in there, of regenerative farms that even exist in the United States. So the rarity of being able to consume food of this quality, it's unprecedented, and we're thankful every day. We
If
have
you
our,
are,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I just got to jump in on that, Barbara. If you're
Yeah, please.
somebody who values pesticide-free, hormone-free, you're striving in the direction of organic, this food is literally a small fraction. If you look at the amount of food in overall that's available to us, there's a small percentage of food that is rated as organic. Purium's food is a small percentage of all the organic foods that has a standard that goes so far beyond the organic standards. There is literally no comparison in terms of what you're getting. Purium stands for pure and premium, and it is absolutely fundamental to every single food that is offered here. It is the highest quality that you can get anywhere on the planet. That's how premium it is. And it is the purest thing that you can get on the planet. And there are so many other pathways out there right now and so many health products on the market that you can choose from. There is nothing that compares to this. And that's not me being like, oh yeah, I'm a cheerleader because this is my company and I want to make money. This is me like being involved in this organic process since the year 2000 when I lived in New York City, and watching the whole process grow and change over time in terms of its availability, in terms of how many people are engaging with it, and being really, really strict about, okay, I'm going to take all these vitamins and I'm never going to eat high fructose corn syrup, and reading all the labels and doing all that stuff over the last 20 some odd years. Like, this stuff is the best that is available. There is no exception to that.
And I would not have put it in my mother's body if it was not. And it was brought to my doorstep because my sister reached out to her community and said, my mother is dealing with this health crisis and we need help. And somebody brought this to the table, literally from the farm, from the regenerative farm to the table. And we had the knowing that this was going to be the best thing that she could put in her body that would help her in the best way. So if I can just be a testimony to, I would never put something in my mother's body that was not absolutely going to be helping her. And I was a witness to what happened. So we're super excited to share with you. We have the Power Shake. These are the 4 staples of what we offer, and these are included in every Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation pack. So the standard ULT contains these 4 items plus a cleanse. The ULT collagen has some additional items in it that help your body produce its own collagen. So many amazing herbs and things in that pack. Also, we have the ULT plus immune. So if you're dealing with low immunity, autoimmunity, anything of that nature, this is a pack that can really assist you back into some homeostasis with your immune system. We also have the ULT Performance Pack, which is for our athletes. Anybody who really is performing at a high level, or if you're in a job doing some sort of service to the world where you are expected to have high performance, this is a pack that is absolutely going to assist you in how you recover and how you prepare for that activity, whatever it is. So the core four, we'll dig in. Every ULT has the power shake. The power shake is our nourishing greens. And I'll just click here. It's not letting me click. Well, I'll just talk about it. So the power shake is amazing. This is our appleberry shake. That's really like one of the favorites that I love. I drink it every day. It's 6 superfoods of salad, of microgreen salad worth of nutrition in one drink. If you can drink it twice a day, even better, 3 times a day, great. You can really dive in as much as you want to. In the pack that you're getting, you're going to have this twice a day. And the power shake just has all kinds of amazing things. It has alfalfa greens, it has barley greens, it has wheatgrass, it has, as far as the grains, and then it has a greens blend with broccoli and all other kinds of leafy dark greens. You know, these dark greens are really, really thick with phytonutrients and micronutrients. And when a plant is really, really dark, that's because it is taking in the most density of nutrients, which is what gives it that really dark color. You're also getting some really great fruits in there that are nutrient dense. The power shake helps you alkalize. It helps you bring into balance your pH. So waking up every day and having this for breakfast changed my life. I used to wake up in the mornings, way back in the day, and I would have like a bowl of cereal. You know, that's what I was raised on, is having some cereal. Luckily, my dad gave us like grape nuts. But even with a cereal like grape nuts, where it's like the most whole grainy green thing that you can have, you're not getting nearly the nutrient density that you're getting just with the grains that are in this shake. So imagine now adding to that breakfast cereal, which you can do for your kids and they love it, but adding to the grains, you're getting all of these greens, you're getting all these other micronutrients. And so alkalizing your system first thing in the day, that's going to set you up to be craving more alkaline foods than throughout the day, because your gut is saying, this was really good, let me have more of that. And it sends a signal to your brain, which tells you to crave more of that. Because if you listen to your body, it will talk back to you. So that's our power shake. Do you want to speak a little bit on that and maybe jump into the aminos?
Yeah, absolutely. When I talk to anyone who's new to these 4 pillars of Purium, I always like to say that there are basically 4 pillars to our health. And the first one is the reason that we're all eating. It has to do with cellular health and the density of nutrients that we're consuming. Our culture has taught us to consume calories when our body is screaming for nutrients. And that was one of the big learnings that I had when I got on this food. Was I learned the difference between when my body is hungry for nutrients and when my body is hungry for calories, because they're very different types of hunger. And most people have no idea that there is even a difference. So if you're somebody who finds yourself constantly snacking throughout the day, your body is screaming for nutrients. And if you consume 1 power shake per day, it is likely that those cravings will disappear. Now, we can't promise that, but mine did with 2 shakes a day, and that took all of 1 single day. I had been craving crunchy things, salty things, sweet things, all the things every single day for probably years. On the first day that I got on Power Shake, that completely disappeared and never came back. So that's the first pillar, is the nutrients going into our bodies. The second pillar is the structure and the ability that our bodies have to execute the job of those cells that are now receiving powerful nutrients, and that it comes from the super aminos. When people talk about, are you getting enough protein? What they're really asking you is, are you getting enough amino acids into your body? And the amino acids that we have to consume are called essential amino acids. These are amino acids that our bodies will not produce on their own. They can only be produced and used by consuming them from outside sources, from foods. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that when you eat a protein source, you might look at it and go, ooh, wow, there's 20 grams of protein in this. Well, there might be 20 grams of protein in the food that you're eating, but the amount of protein that actually gets into your body, the amount of amino acids that actually get into your body so that your body can use it, is generally going to be not higher than around 25% of whatever is in there. That's a very low efficiency in terms of consuming something that is essential for your health. And what's special about Super Amino 23 is it has what is called a 99.9% net nitrogen utilization. What that is a measurement of how much amino acid is in what you consume and what portion of those amino acids are available to your body to use to create the structures that your body needs to create in order to execute the jobs of every single cell in your body. What that means that there is less than 0.1% of the amino acids that are wasted from what you consume, as opposed to when you, for instance, consume a chicken breast, up to 75% or more of the amino acids in a chicken breast turn into some form of catabolic waste in your body. That means it's producing poisonous acids and byproducts into your body that your body then has to work harder after it already worked so hard to extract those amino acids through digestion to eliminate those waste products from the body. That puts a lot of stress on your body and prevents you from healing. When you consume proteins in this form from Super Amino 23, one serving of the tablets that you receive is essentially equal to consuming the same amount of amino acids that you would by consuming a portion of chicken breast. So that is how much you absorb from just a few tablets. And it only takes 23 minutes for your body to absorb these amino acids and for those amino acids to begin being utilized by the body. So when I discovered the power of Super Amino 23 was when I started doing these calisthenic workouts. And as I mentioned, I don't know if you can do a singular pull-up. A lot of people cannot because their relative strength does not equal the weight of their body. Now I weigh around 180 pounds. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm fairly fit. I can't do very many pull-ups. And when I started, I really couldn't do very many pull-ups. I was starting with maybe being able to do 3. Well, I started an experiment and I started taking a double dose of the Super Amino 23s so that those amino acids would hit the cells in my body right when I started my workout. Instantly, I doubled the number of pull-ups that I could execute in my workout, like just complete 100% increase in the number of pull-ups I was capable of doing. I mean, I was completely blown away by that change because I had no idea that essentially what was happening was I was asking my body and the cells in my body to do a job that they did not have enough structure to execute. And when I gave my body that structure, my body was just like, this is freaking easy. I mean, it wasn't like it turned me into Superman. What I'm saying is that it so significantly improved my performance. I was blown away.
I want to add to that just
Yeah.
because I do have a personal share about the aminos. I have had 2 children and I've been a dancer my entire life. Previous to having my children, I was training anywhere from 4 to 7 hours a day. through certain periods of time. And so I've been at a high performance level my entire life. And I was having children while I was in college training for dance. And after having children, I had this experience, despite still training 2 to 3 hours a day and dancing throughout most of my pregnancy and within 6 weeks of postpartum. I had this experience in my body because, when you're pregnant, all of your joints and ligaments and muscles kind of become lax and they open up. It's a hormone that's released in order for your body to make space for childbirth. And I never had the experience. People would say it takes 9 months for your body to go back. It's just going to go back to get like, there's this huge myth that after that traumatic process of your body getting into this state, with, most women are not prescribed any physical therapy, which they absolutely should be if they're not already practicing some sort of somatic practice. They're not prescribed any kind of protein support. They're not prescribed any kind of hormonal support, nutritionally, or offered that advice at any point in our current medical system. And this is a huge gap that a lot of women really are fighting for within the medical industry. But when I started taking these aminos, my pelvic floor and my ability to use my lower abdominal wall, the strength of my hips, and the laxity of my skin, like my skin tightened up. The area where I have stretch marks below my belly button, that skin really tightened back up. I still have stretch marks, those just don't ever go away. But the tone of the muscles and the tone of the skin got back to such a point that I was feeling like I was dancing again for the first time, like I was able to previous to having children. And I think it just really speaks to the power of how nutrition affects us in any kind of physically traumatic experience. As we age, we know that we start to lose muscle tone. And to have that come back, because I was so used to feeling strong in my body, to have that experience of that strength returning to my body was so empowering for me as a mother and as a woman who is coming of age, coming into my like midlife. So I just wanted to speak to that a little bit. And then I'll jump to the biomedic, because I truly feel none of this is possible until you repair your gut. If you are not addressing your gut microbiome, you can drink power shakes, you can take super aminos all day long, but the bioavailability of what you're consuming will not be as high, because the microvilli in the lining of your digestion, which is the epithelial, the skin cells, have these little hairs. And the reason why they're hairs is so that there's a bigger surface area to pull in that nutrition. And when you are not detoxing and you are not cleansing your body and you're not, reflourishing your gut microbes, and finding a way to pull the gunk out, we have these like, kind of like a built up layer of all these toxins and chemicals and binders and fillers and the processed grains, the white bleached rice and the bleached flour and all this stuff. It goes in there and your body doesn't want to pull it in. And it really creates a lining that gunks up those hairs. And so the beauty of biomedic is that it's humic and fulvic acid, which essentially pulls all of that out of those hairs. It's like teasing that acid is like teasing everything out of those hairs with like a fine tooth comb, pulls it into your digestive tract so that it can be flushed out. And then we've got prebiotics in there and probiotics in there so that you're reflourishing your gut microbes. So you're flushing out all the junk that attracts the bad microbes and you're reflourishing the good microbes. And it's very gentle. Our process and our system of cleansing and detoxing is so gentle. And a lot of people will talk about the dangers of cleansing and detoxing protocols. And there are detoxing and cleansing protocols out there that can be dangerous for your body. But this system that we use, it's so well put together and at such fair dosages. And it's not an elimination detox or cleanse. You're actually flooding your body with nutrients, which is what makes it so safe and so gentle. And along with the humic and fulvic acid and the prebiotics and the probiotics, you're getting some gentle herbs and roots that are assisting your body with elimination and helping your body remember what that needs to feel like. And I had blood in my poop before I started using Purium. I was stressed to the max after caring for my mom. I was all over the place, but after 30 days of Biomedic, I have not had bleeding in my stool since. And I mean, it's just like, talk about listen to your body, and I will never stop taking Biomedic and any of this core four products, but it also eliminates glyphosate from our bodies. Glyphosate is a pesticide, herbicide that they use and that they spray on up to 85% of all produce worldwide. So whether you're getting, frozen Chinese produce at Whole Foods, or whether you're getting, produce from Mexico actually just discontinued the use of glyphosate, which I'm actually very excited about. However, we have to remember that that glyphosate doesn't go away. Okay, these heavy metals and things that are in there, it doesn't go away. It stays in the soil, it stays in the water. This is, the industrial food industry has created through the use of GMO seeds, this great need for pesticides and herbicides. Our produce doesn't have this in it. Everything that we use is tested so many times to guarantee purity. But if you've been eating produce from the grocery store your whole life, even if it's from Whole Foods, even if it's from, Vitamin Cottage, a lot of these organic farms even have soil and water that has glyphosate. And most human bodies that are tested test positive for the presence of glyphosate. So on top of all the other amazing things that the Biomedic does to repair your gut, it also helps you eliminate over the course of 60 days, 75% of glyphosate. And if you continue use over time, you can really purify and cleanse and detox this out of your body. Sure that you have something to add as well about the Biomedic. It's really such a key component of our core four.
The only thing that I would say in addition is that, in terms of these four pillars, this is really one of those pillars is detoxification. And Biomedic has been certified by the Detox Project, which is a third party. And when they certify a food item or a product or something, what they are certifying is that the way that the product is represented by the company who produces it, it is guaranteed that that is how it is. So when we say our foods are free of glyphosate, we've received this gold certification from the Detox Project that specifically exists to kind of be a standard by which things that claim to be healthy can be measured. So, and the other thing that I'll mention about Biomedic is that this is the only product that you can find anywhere that has been shown in a scientific trial to remove glyphosate from the body in the effectiveness that it is, which it can reduce glyphosate by 74% within 6 weeks. And at the same time, it will reduce the presence of C-reactive proteins, which are the markers in your body for inflammation, at a rate of 75%. So what that means is if you are suffering from inflammation, or if you have ever eaten food in the United States during your life, you have a strong need for this product to be in your body. Like everything in Purium works synergistically, and so using Biomedic in conjunction with Super Amino 23 and the Power Shake and Apothecary, it amplifies the power of everything that you're doing. But Biomedic is literally a potentially life-saving product that everybody in this country needs to be using on a daily basis. I do not recommend that people get on supplements every day and all that stuff, because there's just so many potentials for side effects. But this product is, it could be life-changing for you if you haven't been able to detox this chemical in the past. So
Yeah, and glyphosate, I'm just gonna throw on there. I
yeah.
did a research project with some classmates when I was taking biology, and there's been a lot of research studies done on glyphosate. It is a neurotoxin, meaning that glyphosate is capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier. So if it's in your blood, it's also in your brain and in your nervous system, and it's a neurotoxin. So they are associating it with things like Parkinson's. They are associating it with things like Alzheimer's, things like ADHD, attention deficit, anxiety, depression. The initial study was done because of its association with suicide by the farm workers who are working closely with glyphosate. So it's really important to understand, you know, the cogs of the wheel that change these laws of what they're able to use on our food are very slow. It's just like the Supreme Court. It takes decades for them to change these laws. Mexico has done it. Most countries have done it. And we haven't gotten there yet in America. And so it is important that we're protecting ourselves. It's a possible known carcinogen as determined by the World Health Organization. I have a student that was in my class when I did this research project, and her uncle died from cancer due to glyphosate as a carcinogen. And so, you know, they say it's possible, but yet we have people stepping forward that have stories to tell. We had a partner as well as our team on our team, Lacey, who was diagnosed with glyphosate poisoning and toxicity and dealt with a lot of nervous system issues and had nerves just shut down in her body that she could lost some of the use of her arm. So this stuff is powerful, and this biomedic is essential, as John said. So the next thing we have here is the apothecary. And the apothecary is an anti-aging and a sleep support. It helps your body produce its own melatonin. It's these dark cherries, as I said, these dark fruits that are just super nutrient dense. It's the most powerful antioxidizing fruit on the planet. And so you're just having this in a syrup form. It is certified organic. It is grown in regenerative soil. We are having this syrup every night before we go to bed when you have a nutrition pack with us. And while you're sleeping, it's hitting your pineal gland, and it's helping your body produce its own melatonin. So it's helping you get a deeper sleep. It's helping you get a longer, more solid sleep. And it's helping you regulate your synodic cycle. So, you know, what time are you going to bed and what time are you waking up with the cycle of the sun and the moon? Really a beautiful thing. It's also an antioxidant, as I said. And so while you're sleeping, it's eliminating free radicals from your body. As you sleep, your body goes through this process of rejuvenating and regenerating. And so when you have this powerful antioxidant before you go to bed, you're really assisting your body's process of getting deep rest. It's really life-changing, because when you're getting good sleep, your performance, your mental clarity, all of these things are improved. In addition, it also has anti-inflammatory effects and also assists the biomedic in lowering your C-reactive proteins to reduce inflammation, not only in your joints. If you have some joint pain, maybe you're used to waking up with some pain in your neck, some inflammation somewhere in your body, your knees, maybe your hips. This is a product that is going to help you reduce your inflammation also in your organs. Your C-reactive protein is the biomarker that doctors really look for when they're trying to assess if you might be coming into a diseased state, because inflammation is one of the first signs. You might have inflammation in your heart. You might have inflammation really anywhere in your body. And so keeping that inflammation at bay is a great preventative way to keep yourself in homeostasis. Everybody loves the apothecary. It's a great nightcap. You know, if you're used to like having a glass of wine before you go to bed, this is a great like healthy habit and a way to kind of shift. You know, maybe you try something different, and maybe instead of a nightcap like that or a nighttime snack, you know, a lot of people crave these like sugary snacks before they go to bed. Sometimes we crave really just anything before we go to bed, which is going to keep your body from that deep rest, unless you're consuming something that's really going to assist you. And so this apothecary really helps you into that deep rest, and just supports your body. Anything to add about the apothecary?
Yeah, and this sort of goes for kind of all of these products. You may have heard about some of the states that the body may be in that these assist with. You might say, well, I don't have any gut trouble, or I actually sleep pretty well. And the question isn't, are you suffering in areas and need help with that? Because what that means is that now your body is just fully breaking down. Like you've already gone way past the point where your health is already going down the drain. And if you're in that case, you know, we're here for you. But if you're not in that state and you're like, I already get 8 hours of sleep at night, or I don't have any trouble with my digestion or whatever, what we're sharing with you is that the environment that we live in does not allow us to have the deep natural levels of well-being that are available to us. And it just because it doesn't hurt there doesn't mean that you don't need it. For instance, with the apothecary, most people in today's society have no idea what it means to be in a parasympathetic mode with their nervous system. If you wake up to an alarm, if you use an alarm to wake up, if you're on computer screens or your phone at night, chances are your nervous system during those 8 hours will never completely shift over into total parasympathetic mode. And what that means is that the repair jobs that need to be done in your body are not going to be done very efficiently. And as long as that is happening, your body is going to continue aging at a faster and faster rate. What aging means is that your cells are going to reproduce themselves, but each time they do it, they're going to do it a little worse and with a little bit less ability to do the job that those cells are there to do. Using apothecary at night helps reverse that process so that your body can actually gain a connection to the parasympathetic side of your nervous system instead of the, jump up at any moment for the alarm type state where you're just not going to have an efficient healing happening every night. And because of the way our metabolism works, every single body, no matter how healthy you are, requires a full healing to go through every night. That is actually why we sleep. So, we have the fuel, the power shake, we have the structure, the super aminos, we have the detox and the gut health, which, by the way, we didn't even talk about how that impacts your mental health, but it makes it better. And then we have deep rest and relaxation. You cannot be at your best well-being without deep rest and relaxation. So that's apothecary.
Totally. And we have on this website, ultlifestyle.com, you can come on and you can read these testimonials. I mean, there's so many people that have been touched and affected in so many ways by this nutrition system. So, hop on there, ultlifestyle.com, check out what's available. John or I can help you set up an account. We both have a 25% off or 50% or a $50 off gift code that we can offer you to set up your account. And we're just seeing such amazing results. We've decided to dedicate our life to offering this to people and helping people into this system. You'll get with it this lifestyle guide. In the lifestyle guide, it's really going to help you. It's going to teach you about every aspect of what we do. It's going to talk about our purity commitment and all those things. It gives you a little rundown on each product as well. It helps you have ideas of what to eat outside of this. So this is not the only thing that you consume when you do a package. You're also eating these flex foods. So, and if you really stick to those, you're going to have the best results. There's some guidelines. None of it is, you're not required to do it. People have all different lifestyles of eating, but it is the best guide. We also have additional supports for gut health, cardio support, skin support, vision support, mobility, immunity, sleeping, energy, mood, and focus outside of this pack as well. So if you're dealing with a specific challenge or a goal that you have with your well-being, we can certainly guide you towards that. Some more testimonials in there. And we have all these online support groups that really help you. We have a tracker so you can keep track of the changes that you're seeing happen. You can track your transformation and see how it's going. Just a great way to check in. So, reach out to John, reach out to me if you're interested, and we would be more than happy to help you jump into this lifestyle and really assist your transformation, assist your self-realization, and come to a place where maybe you never knew was possible for yourself too. So I just want to thank you, John. Thank you so much for hopping on today. Like, having you on is always so awesome because the way that you put things into words is so powerful. And I love having dudes. I love having guys here with me so that the other men in my life can really see that example of somebody that's stepping into total wellness, and just always loving all your passion and your words. So thank you for being here today. And we're going to log off Facebook. So see you, Facebook world.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Yes, it's always my pleasure. I feel like okay, good. It logged off. Okay, I'm going to stop the